live from the Wallace Family Homestead and City National Arena.
Marner se consume en segundos importantes. Viene el equipo de los Vegas Golden Knights a meter presión por el costado izquierdo. Frente a la red, el disparo. ¡Gol!
This is the VGK Insiders Show.
¡Gol!
With Darren Millard and Ryan Wallace.
¡Ahí está! ¡Lo buscaron! ¡Fueron por él! ¡No bajaron las manos! ¡Y con un hombre menos! ¡El equipo de los Vegas Golden Knights gana un encuentro en el segundo tiempo extra! ¡Alejandro Romo!
Brett Howden! On Fox Sports Las Vegas.
Welcome in, Vegas Golden Knights Insider Show, Fox Sports Las Vegas. Ryan Wallace, Darren Millard, Jared Justice hanging out with you for the next 2 hours. What a game last night. How we doing, boys?
What time did it end? Did you look at the clock?
I think 11:18 is what I saw.
We were still on the air after midnight.
Yes.
Down in Section 117. But I never bothered to check out the actual time of day on the overtime winner in double overtime as Brett Howden. Big game, Brett. Big goal, Brett. Wowden. Gretzky, the man with many nicknames, comes through on a short-handed goal. Second shorty in 2 games for the Vegas Golden Knights on a night where the power play was going to be a major topic and the penalty kill stole the show.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, right? It was a tremendous evening for the Golden Knights on the penalty kill. They were exceptional, got a lot of juice out of strong penalty kills, but the fact that they're able to score a shorthanded double overtime game winner, it just goes to show that special teams it's beyond just what you're able to do on the power play. And for the Golden Knights, special teams win them a game in that one yesterday.
Golden Knights now within one victory of moving on to the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Game 6 will be staged tomorrow night in Salt Lake City. The Vegas Golden Knights trying to win a third straight game, and it's eerily similar to what happened a year ago, the way things are playing out. Last season, it was the Minnesota Wild, the opposition in the first round. Vegas wins the opener, lose the next 2, and then storm back, winning 3 in a row to close out the Wild. They take game 4 and 5 in overtime and then finished it up on the road in game 6. And if things play out, though, the way we all hope they do tomorrow night, it will follow the exact same script down to the overtime games in this series. And Vegas found a way to win last night. And so you've got the history repeating itself angle. That's cool. The penalty kill stepping up and just being absolutely dynamic throughout the series. The Vegas Golden Knights are +1 on the penalty kill in the series, which says something as far as goals for and goals against. That's legitimate. So they got it done on that side of it. They've scored 10 goals in the last 2 games with a power play that has been fiddled with throughout. And what was most impressive last night with the back and forth of the game was that if you give a letter grade to the Golden Knights game last night and where they were, it wasn't an A. Probably wasn't a B. Maybe B minus, C's last night. There was some just wonkiness to their game, not a lot of rhythm to their game, but they managed to score 5 goals and they grinded out a win. And when you can find a way, I love that phrase, find a way to win. It's overused, used way more than it ever should be. Just because you win doesn't mean you find a way to win. Last night, the Golden Knights found an alternate route to win.
Yeah, I mean 100%, right? Like you look at that game and it's one that gets away from Utah for sure because it was one of their better games to this point in the series. The Golden Knights, to your point, did not have a lot of rhythm in their game. It was a choppy game at times, choppy specifically in overtime. It just felt like both sides unable to.
I just thought it was a more conservative overtime.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But the point that I'm trying to make is that the Golden Knights were not where they were. They weren't at the level that they were at in game number 4, where I thought that they were in control. They ought to have won that game, and they did. It was a little bit more up in the air. It was a little bit more of a coin flip last night, and, for the Golden Knights, they were able to get a power play goal. They were able to get a shorthanded goal. You get Pavel Dorofeev going, and that's massive, not just in the game yesterday, but for the rest of the series and the playoffs. There's a lot to pull out of it, but it was absolutely a game where the Golden Knights found a way to get the win and push Utah to the brink of elimination.
Don't mean to brag, but I think it was me that said when Pavel Dorofeev scores 1, he scores 5.
Yeah.
Just
yeah, you're right
throwing
on
it
the money
out there. And while he's only been credited with 4, he has scored 5 in the last 2 games. And last night, like he was brilliant. Loved the first goal.
4 or 5.
Loved the second goal, and the third goal, just being able to be in the right area. It wasn't his normal grouping out there. You got a 6-on-5, and he's not in his one-timer spot or in that off-wing position. He's just circling, trying to find a loose puck. So that was great. He could have had another one in overtime, and Vemelka made an outstanding save. But the emergence of Dorofeev. So you've taken another step in your overall game. Now, is there a couple of things that you want to dial in? Certainly the power play, and that's been looked at and tweaked and adjusted several times over the last 3 games of this series. You want to get the third line going a little bit more. Tomas Hertl, in particular, Pavel Dorofeev was there with Hertl a little bit the last couple of games, but that's been moved around. But the power play and Hertl are the 2 things that you would like to get going. Everything else is producing right now. You're still not. You've won the last 2 games in impressive style, in dramatic fashion, but I wouldn't say that you're like necessarily in a real rhythm with your game yet. But the signs are there, and being able to score as much as they've been able to score the last 2 games is certainly a positive that's allowed them to take this 3-2 series lead.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I look at the power play and I look at Tomas Hertl, and those are definitely dominoes you'd like to see fall for the Golden Knights moving forward in the series. I have my thoughts and opinions on the power play. I'd love to see them go back to the 5-forward power play just now that you've got Pavel going. Maybe you get a little bit more juice, and maybe that's the avenue to get Tomas Hertl going as well.
Can I just jump in on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. You're right. The 5-forward set could get Hertl going. But what I believe that the adjustment to the power play, while it hasn't struck gold the way that they would like, and is not producing at a 25% pace in this series, like that it did during the regular season, and we've seen in the past. What the adjustment has done is given the defenseman an opportunity to get up and go. And if you don't make the change to put Shea Theodore in the number 1 unit, or Rasmus Andersson and Noah Hannafin on the second unit, do you still get the type of play offensively out of those 3 players? And Shea Theodore's been very impactful since they went to the new look, the traditional set, with him quarterbacking the number 1 unit. Their shot ratio last night, from total shots to shots from defensemen, was one of the highest that we've seen all year. And that was from the start, the first period, all the way through. So the guys were feeling it all night. So that would be my only balance argument to you wanting to get Hertl going is in the flip side, you might have got 3 guys going by adjusting the power play to having a defenseman back there.
Yeah, I guess for me, like it just, you look at 3 of the power plays last night for the Golden Knights, they had just trouble getting into the offensive zone. And while I get the idea of getting your defenseman going, and there's no arguing, like Shea Theodore has been tremendous since they've made the tweak to the power play units. Noah Hannafin has had a couple of points, some big moments for the Golden Knights since they've made the tweak. Rasmus Anderson's always activating in the offensive zone, so I'm not necessarily ever worried about him. But, for the Golden Knights, they struggled just to get into the zone with possession and get good positive touches. Like, I don't know how much that's informing the game right now of Shea Theodore and Noah Hannafin and Rasmus Anderson. I thought Shea was just excellent all the way around, and it almost felt to me like the power play was bleeding momentum in those situations.
It's confidence, just being out there, being on the number one power play unit, and being on the second unit. It's a huge confidence contributor, and you're right. But about the entries, they struggle with their entries. I wouldn't put that on any of those three players. They were just out of sync last night. They're struggling as a unit right now. But Pavel Dorofeev has been on and off that number one unit. He scored 3 goals last night. So you can still
right.
you can still do contribute simultaneously to having the power play not be totally effective. But I can tell you with the fullest of confidence that the influence of players being put on the power play, or in particular the number one unit, Shea Theodore, or the second grouping with Noah Hannafin and Rasmus Anderson, means a lot to those players. Physically, it helps them. Psychologically, it's huge to get them going and influence their production. Confidence is the overriding, the biggest thing in a game, and I'm always surprised myself in being around these athletes for as long as I have. They're the best players in the world. That confidence can be so fleeting at times, and then come back, and how much it influences their play in a positive side of it. You just think they're great at what they do. They go out and they do it. But if you're taken off the power play, that can affect you, and same way on the flip side, being able to be put on the power play affects you, and that helped them on their 5-on-5 game. Like Shea Theodore's play on the second goal, where it looks like he's going to give up the puck for a breakaway.
Right.
My heart was in my throat there, and instead he turns it up ice, but he doesn't just knock it down the wall to a safe spot. He's poised enough to settle the puck, not worry about the Utah checker, and then dances down along the boards and sets up Pavel Dorofeev for a wonderful goal. And Dorofeev, that was a fun goal because he didn't know it was in at first. I don't think he knew until the goal light went on right behind the net that puck was even in, because there was a delayed reaction to the celebration, and celebrations were a big part of last night. We'll get into that in a little bit more. But that was all Shea Theodore. Looking at potential disaster going the other way in giving up a breakaway from center ice on, to having that poise and that confidence and that skill to turn it into something, not just play it in the safest way possible. There's been a couple of great plays by Shea Theodore this year, and we always go back to the goal against the New York Islanders, in which he took it to the net. The play that he made at the blue line last night, and then to subsequently set up Pavel Dorofeev, is the highlight of the season for me when it comes to Shea Theodore. That play was that good.
Yeah, I think that's right. I really do. Given the stakes of the game and what you were trying to accomplish as a team, it ties the game. It gives you momentum in a period in the second period where the Golden Knights, at least to start, weren't in sync the way that you'd like them to. And for Shea, like he's able to kind of battle that play at the blue line. He's able to take the ice that's in front of him. He's able to make some tremendous plays to get down low. And then to your point, like Pavel's alone on the doorstep. He's able to chip that one through, but you don't get that play without the amazing play and work from Shea Theodore. From what could have been a disaster, what could have been a breakaway clear on from the blue line, turns into a game-tying goal for the Golden Knights because of the work of Shea Theodore.
That's a 2-goal play.
100%.
In the standings during the course of the year, you're playing the Edmonton Oilers, and it's a battle for first place. And you go, this is a 4-point game. If you win in regulation, it's a 4-point swing. This is huge because instead of falling behind by 2 points in the standings, you're 2 points ahead. So therein lies your 4-point swing, 4-point game. That was a 2-goal play because if Utah goes the other way and they score on the breakaway, you're in a really tough spot, and he turns it into something that ends up in the net. And instead of being down by 2, you're in a tie game. Massive change of momentum, and a guy that in the last couple of games, again, it coincides pretty closely to being put on the number 1 power play unit. And we can argue certainly how effective or how much impact that really has. I'll listen to you. I may not agree with you. I'll listen to you.
Yeah.
But you can argue with the power play has had its fits and starts this series since the early parts of game number 2. But you cannot debate the timing of Shea Theodore being back on the number 1 unit and his rise of influence in this series to take a 3-2 series lead.
Well, yeah, I think the timing makes sense, right? Like, obviously, Shea has had an uptick in his production. He has looked more like that dynamic Shea Theodore we all expect him to be with the promotion, with the option of going to that top power play unit. My only concern, I guess, moving forward is if the Golden Knights don't find the rhythm on the power play. Like, if they have more power plays like what they had last night, can that confidence be fleeting if you're not able to make plays and not able to get the touches you're hoping for because you're not able to set up on the power play? Like, to me, it's a double-edged sword. Like, yes, the fact that you're there, the opportunity that's in front of you can be amazing. But if you have power plays that kind of suck momentum, or you have power plays that don't go your way, and then you start to get frustrated by that or bothered by that, can that not take away the confidence that you get just by being on the power play?
Yeah. Remember, there's a reason why they moved away from the 5-forward set.
I agree with that 100%. I just think that has been the most productive look for the Golden Knights in their history. Like, that isn't debatable. It's true. It is a truism of this season. It is true to a large degree. And like we've talked about before, sometimes you break up a line and you come back to it and it works again. It's rekindled. It's not stale, whatever the case may be. I wonder how long you let this go before you go back to, or if you go back to, a 5-forward set.
I don't think we're done with seeing 5 forwards. In the Stanley
neither
Cup
do
run, I think we're gonna bear witness to that type of power play focus again. Mm-hmm. But for right now, and the way it's impacting the other players, you're getting a 3-for-1 here. If we're comparing it to the hurdle and versus the defenseman, but the important thing is they found a way to win that hockey game, and they did it with great goaltending, despite allowing 4 goals. They did it with goal scoring, despite only scoring on one of their power play opportunities. They did it 5-on-5, which is back to the roots of this team. I thought that they had long stretches of really good control of the game. Defensively, they got burned on a couple of 2-on-1s last night in the third period, mismanaging a couple of pucks. But they did without their A game, they were able to secure another victory against a team that thrives with any bit of confidence. So you push them to the brink. It with back-to-back wins for the first time. There was a lot to take out of last night, even though the sum of the whole game, if you're going to rewatch it, wouldn't be one of those classic dominating games. The impressive part, resiliency, if you want to use that word, for 2 games in a row, has been fun to watch from this group.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that these 2 games have been wildly entertaining. Like, it was a fun night at the rink yesterday. Listen, you've got to win games like that. You know, you mentioned it right off the top. Was it the Golden Knights A game? No. Was it their B game? No, probably not. But they still find a way to win. And the reality is, if you're going to have a long playoff run, or the type of playoff run the Golden Knights are hoping to have, you've got to find ways to win when you don't have your A or B game. And the Golden Knights, they were able to do that last night.
Other action in the National Hockey League features 2 games tonight in the Stanley Cup playoffs. We'll get into that with John Shannon from 100% Hockey, the podcast. That's coming up next on the VGK Insider Show on Fox Sports Las Vegas.
He is 100% of the reason to listen to 100% Hockey. The legend, John Shannon, joins the VGK Insider Show.
The man, the myth, the legend, Shannon Ding Dong, John Jacob Jingleheimer Shannon, with us on the VGK Insider Show. I'm giddy today, John. I'm so happy. I'm just,
come?
Well, I didn't get a lot of sleep after the double overtime encounter, and then Vegas wins, so I'm doubly excited and having some fun. And then today just had a couple of good things going on in life today that contributed to my mood. It's all coming together after a tough couple of days. Things turned a corner last night.
Well, the only person I can say, I feel sorry for Ryan.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Ryan's in hot water. Ryan's on the text
it.
line. John,
Yeah.
I said something in the opening segment. Like, I thought Vegas got by with their C game last night. They found a way to win the hockey game. There was some areas that they have to clean up, and one of the texters went right at Ryan for criticizing the team, and it was me that said it. And I'm going to text back through the station's text line and say, we'll talk to Ryan about that.
Well, I tell you what, I just wish Kelly would stop texting you guys. That's really the key thing. That's not very good.
Oh, jeez. Oh, boy.
So you stay up.
And
that was entertaining hockey game. It was a conservative overtime, but it was back and forth during regulation, and then you win it in a unique fashion on a shorthanded goal in the second overtime frame.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, Vegas, based on wins and losses, up 3-2, is looking like the team that won the Pacific Division, that closed it out. It hasn't been the smoothest journey, but they always seem to end up in the place that they're supposed to.
Hasn't been the smoothest journey. I mean, this is like the USS Minnow and Gilligan's Island. Are you kidding me?
Nobody knows what that means.
Yeah,
Well, Google it then. Google it.
It's a 3-hour tour, Darren. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's been a roller coaster for almost every team in the Pacific. And dare I remind anybody, that yes, Vegas is up 3-2, but that's the ebbs and flows. I mean, when Utah was up 2-1 and then was leading in Game 4, I mean, we were talking about the apocalypse coming to Vegas. So the emotions. You're getting the full gamut of emotions, not only in this series, but last night you're getting the full gamut by period. It was crazy last night.
What when you look at the series overall through 5 games, incredibly even. It's been entertaining hockey. It's been awesome. What has it taught you, or what have you learned about Utah through the process of the first 5 games of their playoff history?
Well, they're young, they're fast, they're big. And I'll tell you that in many ways, the difference in this series at this point is goaltending. Hart versus Vejmelka, and Carter Hart has a slight edge at this point. And you know, the one thing, if I'm Vegas, the one I'd like to be doing is I want to make sure that I get Vejmelka to play the puck. You know, there's lots of guys that you say, I don't want my goalie to play the puck, or I don't want the goalie to play the puck because he's like a third defenseman back there. I want Vejmelka to play the puck. And because I think he's prone to make mistakes. So from that perspective, that speaks in my mind, Ryan, to a little bit of inexperience with the Mammoth in getting to this level. You know, we saw a couple of times in this series, you know, just the bright lights of the Stanley Cup playoffs. You know, they were a little blinding for the team at times, and you have to wonder, losing two leads late as they have in the last two games, how will that affect them? And the other thing is, and this is unscientific, but when you think about teams that lose in extended overtime periods, how does that affect them? I can tell you right now that the Mammoth legs feel heavier today than the Golden Knights legs do. And they played the same amount of hockey. But the difference in losing and the difference in winning in a long overtime period has residual effects.
And they're going every second day after that prolonged first three games of this series. When you actually could have played multiple overtimes and had time to recoup, they played one game in 5 days during a stretch, and now they're going into the rhythm, so that fatigue may be a more impactful factor. You talk about Utah, young, up-and-coming team. I'll throw Anaheim into the mix, Philadelphia in the eastern side. These are young teams.
Put Montreal on that list too.
Yeah, but Montreal doesn't fit as my argument, so I wasn't going to mention them. So you're ruining the facts of it. But
Good
you've
job,
got these teams. When it becomes real, John, you kind of look around and go, "Oh, this is the heat of it. We're right in the middle of it." And I think Anaheim's going through it right now, trying to bounce Edmonton. Certainly Utah trying to get past a more experienced team. Philadelphia against a more veteran team in Philadelphia. Like that got a lot closer than everybody thought. Well, sure. Throw Montreal in. Like they've been the better team in that series, but haven't been able to shake Tampa Bay.
No. And what I really think we're seeing is a changing of the guard in the National Hockey League. And what's happening is that, you know, let's talk about for this decade. Okay, let's talk about what we've seen. Vegas has won the Cup. Tampa's won a couple. Florida's won a couple. Florida couldn't even make the playoffs this year. And now and then you look at a team like Edmonton, who got to the Stanley Cup final twice, struggling, yes, right now, but who knows after tonight.
I don't count them out, John.
No, neither do I. Yeah, I don't think you can. I don't think you can for a multitude of reasons. But my point is that we're seeing younger, faster, bigger teams starting to take over the league. This is truly, in my mind, a changing of the guard of hockey teams. Utah, they've been very patient in their build in Arizona and in Salt Lake. That's a big part of it. Anaheim has been very patient. Pat Verbeek has done a really good job with his young guys and then surrounding them with veterans. What Danny Briere and Keith Jones have done in Philadelphia is truly... they are actually probably more patient than anybody else. In fact,
I agree with you on that.
In fact, this is all gravy to them. I don't think they expected to get to the playoffs this year, but Rick Tocchet pushed, and some of the guys responded. And then Montreal, with what they have done, and you know what? I might even throw Buffalo into that. With what Buffalo's gone, and Buffalo's kind of going, I think, through what you were talking about, Darren, because Boston's going home for Game 6, and they could put a scare into the Sabres, and so you know, a year from now, all those teams the young teams we talked about, they're going to be that much more experienced. Playoff hockey's like going to university and getting your master's degree. You know, the regular season's the undergrad, playoffs are their master's degree. And these teams are getting huge, huge educations in how to play in the postseason, and that will pay off in spades for years to come.
I always go back to 1983. I know it's a long time ago, folks, but the point of it was Edmonton, the New York Islanders meeting in the Stanley Cup Final, and there's no doubt that Edmonton was the better team. No doubt that they were the more talented team. But
they weren't the better team, but they were the more talented team.
They didn't know how to win, and the New York Islanders did, and it changed the next year after the whole phrase you got to learn you got to lose before you learn how to win. I think we're seeing that a little bit right now. Perhaps
we are. But what's also happening in this is, when we talk about this, is that perhaps a team like Edmonton is now going to be passed by. Perhaps a team like Dallas is going to be passed by. Perhaps a team like Carolina, as good as they are going to be passed by. Yeah. Tampa Bay, are they going to be passed by? That's the fascination of watching all of these younger teams really take the next step.
Is the changing of the guard, though, due to fatigue? Like the Florida Panthers, 3 straight Stanley Cup final appearances. The Edmonton Oilers have gone deep the last 3 years, including back-to-back Stanley Cup final appearances. The Dallas Stars have been to 3 straight Western Conference finals. Is it just a reset because of fatigue that we might be seeing?
I think that's one of the 5 or 6 elements that you have to consider. You also have to consider the fact that how many first-round picks are on the Buffalo Sabres? How many first-round picks, high first-round picks, are on Anaheim? You know, the teams have used their position in the lottery to improve themselves and get better players, and so that's the type of thing that's why it's so important. And even in looking back at what the Golden Knights did, that's why it's so important. If you get to the Stanley Cup Final, you better bloody well win.
Yeah.
Because it's fleeting. It's absolutely fleeting. The opportunities you will have in the future. No guarantee you're going to go back next year. I mean, the fact that Florida went to 3 consecutive Stanley Cup Finals is amazing. Even the fact that Edmonton did is impressive. But it doesn't mean anything if you don't win. And now you worry about, are there teams that are going to pass a Dallas by, an Edmonton by? You can't put Florida in that because they did win. But a Tampa Bay now, this generation, and this iteration, rather, of the Tampa Bay Lightning.
He is the co-host of 100% Hockey, the podcast with Millard and Shannon. JS with us on the VGK Insider Show on Fox Sports Las Vegas.
So to that point, kind of about teams getting passed over, when you think about Carolina and the path that they have right now, like, does it underscore just how important this postseason is for the Hurricanes to get the job done?
Absolutely. This might be it when you think about it, particularly when you have an impatient owner. But, Carolina, who were really impressive, I think, in their 4-game sweep of Ottawa, are home now, practicing, healthy, but they finally have something that in previous years has petered out in the playoffs, and that's solid goaltending. They, in fact, themselves have kind of exhausted themselves in getting to the second and third rounds. The rest will help them a great deal.
You own an NHL team?
Well, no, it's not like I have shares in the Green Bay Packers or anything. No.
Oh, Why? You said Carolina's got an impatient owner. I didn't realize that you were part of that ownership group.
No, but I do have shares in the Blazers.
Do you?
How can you call me impatient? I'm the most patient person in the world. I work with you 3 days a week.
You are.
Say it again, brother.
You know what?
Yes.
I do have to give you props. You are patient.
I mean, I have worked with some interesting people in my career. You are one of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that a compliment?
I'm not sure. By the way, Ryan, I got to tell you, Ryan, sounded good in the intermissions last night. Did a good job.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that, and now I'm not nervous at all.
Why were
knowing
you
that you're
listening
to me? It's
Walking
fantastic.
the dog.
Oh, so you walk the dog during the intermissions because you okay? So that's good. That's smart.
It's a good 18 minutes to know that I have 18 minutes to walk young Gordy around the block.
Why can't intermissions be 15 minutes all the time, or why can't overtime intermissions be 18 minutes? Because they change.
Well, it's all about windows and 3-hour windows, and you have commercial inventory. You know, when we, I don't want to tell stories out of school, but when we were in the mid '80s, when there was less influence from the league. If I thought we had a really good story or a good feature in the intermission, I'd tell the timekeeper to hold the clock for 2 minutes and let's go a 20-minute intermission.
No way. So
Sure.
delay starting the clock going to the intermission?
Just don't start the clock for 2 minutes.
Do you remember the timekeeper's name?
Don Wheaton.
That's amazing that you remember that.
Yeah, Big Don in Edmonton. Yeah, hey Donnie, can you hold the clock for a couple of minutes? Yeah, no problem. Okay, good, thanks. And then we'd have a good feature. And then then we'd want to know why the regulation game that the Oilers won 6-2 went 3 hours and 2 minutes.
You should write a book.
No, it's boring. No, nobody would like it.
You should. Have you ever thought of writing a book?
I'm going to ignore that.
Because John wrote a book, and it's really
I wrote a book,
good.
and by the way, I did write the book. I didn't have a ghostwriter. I wrote the book.
It's outstanding. I'm not just saying that because he's on the air. It's a fabulously fun and informative story. If you like
if you're in the TV business, if you're in the TV and the hockey business, you'll like it. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who do you? If I had to say, you got to pick a team right now between Anaheim and Edmonton to advance to the second round. Who would you select?
Tonight, I'm going to select Anaheim, and I'm going to select Anaheim for one reason, and it begins with Q.
Nice.
Quenneville.
I think Joel Quenneville, who has been through all of these wars for a long time, will have his team prepared. He'll know he doesn't want to go back to Edmonton for Game 7. And at the same time, you could sense how disappointed he was how they played the first period the other night. So from that perspective, I just think that Joel will not let this opportunity at home get away from them. By the way, here's a fact. I was talking to somebody with the Oilers the other day.
When you say, hold on, before you start that, when you say I was talking to somebody of the Oilers, is this like somebody like you were talking to the owner, you were talking to the general manager, you don't want to say who you were talking to?
Senior management.
Yeah, I knew it. You made it sound like, hey, I was talking to somebody at Starbucks who was working downtown in Edmonton.
It wasn't the owner, okay? I wasn't talking to Daryl King.
I knew it was somebody of influence, though.
And they were remarking, 2017, Anaheim played Edmonton. 2017, Ducks, Oilers. There were never any sellouts in Anaheim at Honda Center. And I was flummoxed at that. I was amazed. The games played in Anaheim were not sold out. Because in 2017, if you remember, that was, people were taking how good the Ducks were for granted.
Yes.
And they were, and people were spoiled.
Yeah.
Well, you can't get a seat in Anaheim now. It's a tough ticket to get into a game at Honda Center, and that I think speaks volumes to how that franchise has just really turned a corner, and has re-engaged with the fan base in Orange County.
So you're taking the Ducks. The Ducks were really good the other night too, even though they lost. they played a better game than the score indicated. So you might be bringing me back to the Duck side.
Last 40 minutes, they were. I think you could
score
the last
effect there
40
when
minutes,
you're
they were the
trailing.
better team.
Yeah,
they were the better team.
Score effect. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Brian.
I'll slide over to the other game today, Dallas, Minnesota. Like, Dallas has struggled mightily to score 5-on-5 in that series. Does it feel like Minnesota is poised to eliminate Dallas today, or do you think that goes 7?
No, I think it ends tonight. As much as it pains me to say that, it does end tonight. And I was actually talking to someone else today, not to name drop, but talking to somebody else today.
That someone's really busy.
No, this is a different one.
Oh.
This is a different guy. And somebody who works at TNT. I think this tonight and the last two games have been dictated by how Jamie Benn plays. And the days and hours and years are starting to wear on Jamie Benn. And he's so much a barometer of how the Dallas Stars play a game. And if Jamie Benn is engaged from the opening face-off through the 60 minutes, then Dallas has a chance. But he wasn't engaged very much. It didn't appear in Game 5 in Dallas. He just wasn't engaged. And so that's the bigger factor for me there. By the way, did you see Marc-Andre Fleury? It was he was the flag bearer tonight in St. Paul.
He was the goalie during the last game last year. He was part of Brett Howden scored on him in Game 5 last year. How's Quinn Hughes played? Just want to wrap up that way. Big star acquisition at the.
He's been good. He's been good, but he's the second best defenseman on Minnesota.
Brock Faber.
Brock Faber has been spectacular. Spectacular. And hard to imagine that the LA Kings traded him.
What was that deal?
That was for. I'm going to pause long enough for Ryan to go to Google. But they traded with the LA Kings for a. Who was it? And it was crazy to think
because I don't think of Brock Faber as being a compensation in a trade.
So it was Brock Faber and a 2022 first-round pick that was used on Liam Ogren to the Minnesota Wild in exchange for Kevin Fiala.
Yeah,
Kevin
they
Fiala.
were trying to.
I wouldn't trade Kevin Fiala. I wouldn't trade Brock Faber for Kevin Fiala straight up now.
Mm-hmm.
That's how good Brock Faber is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and of course Ogren's now he was part of the Quinn Hughes trade.
Right. He just can't find a spot.
Wow.
No, they're happy with him in Vancouver. They like him.
Like I like Fiala. I do.
Yeah. No, he'll be.
But when you're trying to win now, you're going to give up those pieces. That but
that was Rob Blake as the manager in L.A., not Kenny Holland. So I think he'd rather have Brock Faber. So.
Well, you can get Kenny would too. Hey, any closer to a GM being named in any of the three cities that currently have openings: Toronto, Vancouver, and Nashville?
No, Vancouver's just starting their second round of interviews. Who knows what's going on in Nashville because they went to their final round of 3 and then did a reset and have started
stalled.
Again.
Yeah.
I think that there was people in the meetings that said, we think we can do better than the 3 finalists that were there. So, and then in Toronto, it's, Matt Sundin is supposed to be, the former Leaf captain is supposed to be involved, part of management, but nothing official yet. And it appears that from all the stories that John Chayka, the former general manager of the Coyotes, is the front runner, which to me is quite frankly is shocking. So
yeah, it's
shocking,
messy,
little messy. Oh my goodness gracious!
My goodness gracious! You haven't dropped that one in a while.
I know, but I couldn't swear. So.
Oh my goodness gracious! John Shannon's with us.
Yeah.
We got to fly. want to say hi to George?
Yeah, listen, well, George is in Salt Lake City now, so I know he's tuning into Fox Sports Radio Las Vegas. Yeah. So I want to just say hello to my pal George McPhee.
Talk to you tomorrow on 100% Hockey with Millard and Shannon. There's
1-0 Minnesota.
Oh, yeah. Live updates, courtesy of John Shannon. Hour number 2 coming up on Fox Sports Las Vegas.
Great guests, great conversation. That's 100% Hockey with Darren Millard and John Shannon. Hey, that's me. 100% Hockey, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on your favorite podcast platform and YouTube.
Live from the Wallace Family Homestead and City National Arena.
Tucks it for Howden, who stick breaks on the shot. It's a rush the other way. 1-on-none. Schmaltz along the righty. Save! Rebound swept away by Hamilton. Schmaltz another one. Shot it high. What a step by Carter Hart on a 1-on-none breakaway.
This is the VGK Insiders Show.
Theodore closing. Theodore shoots. He scores! Jay Theodore! Vegas takes its first lead in Game 5.
With Darren Millard and Ryan Wallace.
Loose puck, right circle, a shot, score! Howden again! A year ago to the day, Howden wins it in double overtime, a shorthanded goal. Vegas 5, Utah 4.
On Fox Sports Las Vegas.
Golden Knights now within one game of winning the first round series and advancing to the second stage of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Darren Millard, Ryan Wallace here with you. Jared Justice operating the controls of the VGK Insider Show, making things happen. We got a lot to get to in hour number 2, including one-timers, news and notes from around the National Hockey League. Update you on the early action in the Stanley Cup playoffs tonight. It's a 2-game schedule as we work our way towards the finish of the opening round. Dallas against Minnesota, with the Minnesota Wild trying to eliminate their Central Division rivals. And then it is Anaheim at home against the Edmonton Oilers in Game 6 of that series. The Anaheim Ducks with a second opportunity to bounce their rivals. And Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and company will get you the updated scores on that. Plus, there's other stories happening. Lady Byng finalists are out, the finalists being rolled out on a daily basis, and we'll bring you up to date in just a couple of other minor things that are taking place around the National Hockey League. But the important factor is the Golden Knights in double overtime last night, scoring a shorthanded goal from Brett Howden. Second straight game he's done that. This time it was to win the hockey game, as the Golden Knights managed to score late in regulation, giving themselves a shot in overtime and taking advantage of that for a second straight win in this series.
Yeah, I mean, just a massive win all the way around for the Golden Knights. Now you've got an opportunity to go up to Utah tomorrow, take on the Mammoth after losing 2 games in a row. The Mammoth having a lead in the third period, losing both of those games in overtime. You look at the experience of the Vegas Golden Knights, that has shined through over the last couple of games, and it's provided them now an opportunity to end this series in 6 games.
Golden Knights have been able to score a ton in the last few games of this series, 10 goals over the last couple in those victories, and they've needed all 10 goals, 5 per night for the Vegas Golden Knights, and they've the power play has been lamented on the tweaks and the adjustments that the Golden Knights have made. But let's give some real love to the penalty kill and what they have been able to do over the course of this series. Not just scoring shorthanded goals, that's a real bonus. Love what they've been able to do. More aggressive penalty kill this year certainly has generated better results, percentages of penalties killed. But last night in particular, there's a 4-minute penalty in the third period. They were able to get it through it without being dominated, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the Golden Knights have pressured Utah really well in terms of when to kind of choke out certain plays and certain aspects that Utah's looking for on the penalty kill. And then, when there have been moments or opportunities for Utah to work pucks either across the ice or two dangerous areas, you've gotten really big saves from Carter Hart, right? So it's multifaceted, but, I think I go back to the first penalty kill of the night for the Golden Knights. It was a really just a desperation block from Keegan Colasar. He laid out, got a piece of a Gunther shot, and then it was a great stick from Mitch Marner that led to his own clearance for the Golden Knights. Just little plays like that where Vegas has been in the lanes, they've had active sticks, and they've pressured the choke points really, really well, and it's led to Utah not looking as comfortable or sure-handed when they've had the puck in the offensive zone.
Golden Knights have won back-to-back games in this series to take a 3-2 lead in the best-of-7 set. They can advance to the second round with a victory tomorrow night back in Salt Lake City. It's been a series of real twists and turns. It's been a series where it's been hard to get a handle on things. Where are you in your assessment of the Golden Knights' positioning after 5 games?
Well, I mean, they're in the driver's seat of the series, obviously, because they've got 2 opportunities now in front of them to eliminate the Utah Mammoth. They have an opportunity to win this series without facing elimination themselves. So, I think you have to lean into the idea that this is an incredibly favorable position, and they are in control of the series. But, if the first 5 games are any indication, I would expect lead changes, and I would expect more of the same in game number 6. Utah has impressed in the sense that, they just keep coming back. They're never really out of a game in the same way the Golden Knights are never really out of a game. But I think for Vegas, the experience factor has been the differentiation point through 5 games, and that's not going away in game 6.
One of those things that has been answered the last few days is Pavel Dorofeev. He came into the Stanley Cup postseason with 1 career playoff goal. He entered this week with 1 career playoff goal, and he's erupted. Scored a couple the other night. One was called back, but he's producing around the net. A big goal in Game 4, and then scores the Stanley Cup playoff hat trick, the first of his career, last night.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it has been a really strong response game, Game 5 that for Pavel Dorofeev, and he gets on the board in game number 4, and that had to feel good. It was 1 minute and 12 seconds into the game. Great play from Ivan Barbashev. You knew that when Pav scored, it was going to open the floodgates. Then there was a turnover in game number 4, and it was on Pavel Dorofeev to bounce back from that game 4 and put together a strong performance.
And the coaching staff to stay with them.
Yeah, 100%. You're absolutely right. That is overlooked often in these moments where you go back to the guy and you trust the player and what he's done over the course of the season, and you believe he's going to figure it out. And, I mean, listen, he did. He scores a power play goal, scores a 5-on-5 goal, and he scores a 6-on-5 goal. You don't get to overtime without the contribution of Pavel Dorofeev. It's just that simple.
The 6-on-5 goal is huge, because I don't know how much they've been able to work on that with John Tortorella. I don't know whether there was any wrinkles with that. It wasn't, and the goal was scored without all your usual suspects being out there for that moment. And if you take the goalie out at a certain point, you're going to have turnover on a 6-on-5 because you're going to have to change lines. And it being the tying goal occurred with an interesting group of players on the ice, and Riley Smith causing some disruption in front of the net, and just creating a little bit of a distraction to both the defenseman and the goaltender, and the puck pops out. So there is a lot to win into the 6-on-5 in a game where Vegas was less than sharp with a man advantage. They found the right time, and I think there's a lesson to be taken from that, and it's the simplicity of it. But I don't want people to get just confused or misjudging what I'm saying, because the issues with the power play last night was just getting up the ice and being clean, getting into the zone. That caused the most problem last night. They didn't get even set up enough to generate opportunities. The 6-on-5 last night, they got an opportunity to get it in the zone and create the possibility for a goal. And we've seen in the last two nights. And I discussed this with John and my theory that when you're young, when you're inexperienced, and you're in these situations for the first time, it gets real, and it gets real in a hurry.
Yeah.
And if you're going to look at it from an individual perspective, I've just seen a stiffer, less comfortable Karl Vejmelka when these games get to crunch time. Pucks not being handled quite as clean. Making decisions with the puck. If you're playing, he's not. I wouldn't put him in the top half of goaltenders when it comes to playing the puck outside your crease anyway. But making decisions in where you get happy feet throughout. But pucks getting through you, or you're looking behind you, or not making saves that you would normally make, and I've seen a little bit of that. He still was great at the start of the series, but as it's gone on and it gets deeper into these games where the influence of a goal means much more in game 4, 5, 6 than it does in 1, 2, 3. Because of the less runway that's ahead, and I'll be following and tracking that part of it a little bit closer. The lead story, though, outside of the Golden Knights actually winning the game, the result, like we haven't got to it, and I say shame on you, and I say bad job to me, and okay. Jared. Well, I don't even know what to say about you anymore. But
we don't know if he's in the studio.
The biggest
there he is.
story outside of the puck going in the net last night was the dual celebrations. But one, Pavel Dorofeev celebrating a hat-trick goal, forcing overtime with less than a minute to go without a stick. Scoring the goal with a broken stick, and just standing there in the corner, and the pure exuberance and joy, but the awkwardness of not having a stick in your hand. That was a really cool moment for a guy who doesn't talk a lot, and when he does, it's certainly it's his second language, and doesn't. Certainly, it's, and for a few, with your French Canadian, English second language, but you're around it a lot more than Pavel doesn't. I wouldn't say he probably would admit too. He's not super comfortable speaking to the media about it, but it was fun to see that kind of reaction from a guy that I would put on the stoic side of things.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a massive goal though, right? Like you gotta have. And enjoy the moment in that regard, and I think for Pavel, like you get. But
it was the way it happened, like no stick, standing in the corner, like the drama of it. And the other one was Brett Howden's reaction when he shot that puck. He actually fell down onto his knee during the release, and he jumped back up. And I don't have the exact vertical of the jump. The data from it, but that was impressive. And the figure skaters, they can do the quads and the different spins and the jumps, but they load up when they do that. Here's Brett Howden with all that hockey equipment on and just jumping straight up, and he got air, man. And then you saw like Jeremy Lauzon. Jumping on him, and he got air. Braden McNabb, big man, his vertical was huge, and off to the side, Mitch Marner, huge leaps. It was that celebration, the height of Brett Howden's, and this doesn't happen very often. When it does, I love to get into it. Just the overwhelming joy. And a lot of times you hear from players like, well, what happened after you scored? I blanked out. I blacked out on it.
Yeah.
I fully concur and side with Brett Howden. I don't think he knew what was happening when that puck went in the net. It was just wow. Start the party. And one of my favorite parts about the celebration was like the fourth guy into the pile was Riley Smith, who came from the penalty box. But the celebration was right beside the timekeeper's bench. So he obviously had to stand because you're in the penalty box. You don't want to be jumping up and down, going with the emotion of those chances. Jack Eichel in the breakaway, and then Brett Howden scoring the goal. So you're trying to keep your emotions in check because you're probably pretty nervous at that point, having taken a penalty in overtime. And boom, like he opened that door and he was out and he was in that pile before anybody could get near the celebration with Brett Howden. So cool on Brett with the hops and just the pure joy of it. And his teammates also jumping up and down. Jeremy Lauzon was cool, but Riley Smith, that part of it, being the fourth guy into the pile after taking the penalty because of the proximity of the timekeeper's bench was cool. And we had this angle on Script Sports from above where the cameras sit. So it was on the where that row of cameras is, the play-by-play side of the rink, but it showed the fans and then the players up against the glass. But you saw like the first 12 rows of fans, and everybody's high-fiving. Down there, banging on the glass. But all those fans in that, and they don't know each other. They're high-fiving 2 rows back, 1 row back, 1 row in front. It was a sporting moment between the players and the fans' reaction.
So a couple of things, I admittedly, while you were talking about it, I was going back and rewatching it. The biggest hit that Brett Howden took last night was from Jeremy Lauzon after he scored.
Just hugging him, throwing him into the glass.
Yeah. But in looking at it, and this was something that I came across earlier today, like because Brett had scored a year apart, right, overtime goals for the Golden Knights on Marc-Andre Fleury last year against Minnesota. Same type of situation. He doesn't get as much air after he puts the puck in the back of the net, but Brett goes immediately to the boards. He goes immediately to jump into the boards, doesn't have anybody checking him into the boards like he did yesterday. But, your point, the one that you left off on about, you get to see the fans. You get to see everybody piling onto the ice. You get to see the exuberance, the celebration, all of it. Like, that's the beauty of overtime playoff hockey, because the game can end so abruptly, so quickly, and that raw emotion just comes out. After 85 minutes of hockey, everything just floods out of you. And I appreciated the fact that the play had started in the offensive zone with a faceoff. We didn't have to worry about whether or not the play was offside or anything like that. It was just a celebration from top to bottom. It was awesome.
I'm not a big fan of the jumping into the glass celebration when you score. Too many guys do it.
I don't mind it.
I
don't mind it.
I like the more unique celebrations. That wasn't it last night because Brett had 2 different jumps in the middle of the ice after that puck went in the net. And that first one, like, it was massive. Like, it was just huge height on it. And if you want to go back to how the goal came about, Jack Eichel doesn't get an assist. He doesn't get a plus, and you do get a plus in the plus-minus if you score, if you're on the ice for a short-handed goal for. And just like you get a minus if you're on the ice for when you're on the power play. But Jack Eichel makes a play in his own end that was similar-ish to what Shea Theodore did earlier in the game, where he was in an awkward position, made an incredibly confident play to keep the puck in when it could have gone down for a breakaway against the Vegas Golden Knights, and then takes it up ice and turns it into something instead of just dumping it into the zone. Jack Eichel makes a play at the blue line. If he doesn't make that play and he gambles and he doesn't get the puck, well, it's a really good opportunity for Utah with really what would have been a 5-on-3.5 play. if Jack doesn't get that play. But he forces the issue. He makes sure to keep on that puck, and then he gets like a mini breakaway on it. He was hounded at the end, but he got a shot off going the length of the ice, shorthanded, and you wondered, boy, like could that have been the moment in double overtime to score a shorthanded goal? But he got a play off, and it resulted in an ozone face-off for the Vegas Golden Knights while shorthanded. And Vegas makes the shift change and putting Mitch Marner and Brett Howden onto the ice on the penalty. And the puck actually, like, Utah wins the draw. The puck goes in the corner, and between Marner being first on the puck and then Howden being right there, and then Howden with a back check, just stealing the puck away. Two guys connecting on a strong forecheck, and Howden, quite honestly, when I first time I watched it back, I was surprised that Howden stayed as aggressive as he was in the zone, because it would have been really easy after Mitch was deep in the corner hounding the puck. It would have been really easy, almost like natural instinct, for Howden to just slide back up to the top of the blue line and be prepared for the Utah Mammoth to break out on the power play. Just be safer. There was no safety there, and part of it was he had the advantage of being on top of the puck, being able to be on the right side of the puck. You're not chasing by any means. Like, it was a great read by Brett Howden, but there's a lot of players that would have defaulted to being in a much safer position, and he didn't do that, and then he turned it into something, and then he like ripped it top glove on the southpaw. Like, he ripped that puck.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he can shoot, right? Like, we know Brett Howden's got a great shot, and he made no mistake when it came out to him, and I think that point's a good one, right? Like, especially in double overtime, especially understanding that it's still a power play for the Utah Mammoth. Like, if there's a 50-50 battle, or if you are concerned that Utah is going to come out with that puck, you're probably looking to be a bit more responsible in that situation. And, you know, it keeps going back to something that John Tortorella has talked about. He's said, we've asked him about it, safe as death. And it's not necessarily that it's always going to work out that way. And it's not an easy thing to do, especially given the context of where the game was at. But, you know, for the Golden Knights, they benefited from a more aggressive approach from Brett Howden in that moment. And he made no mistake when he got his opportunity.
I haven't had a chance to talk to Brett about the play yet, but I wonder if he was influenced, if you have time to think about this, that it was Mitch Marner on the forecheck, and we know how Mitch can read plays. We know Mitch's defensive game. It's underrated. I think people know about it, though. Like, it's not a mystery that he's a good 200-foot player, but it's not talked about as much as his offensive game. But because it was Mitch Marner down there, and you're supporting him, does that make a difference as opposed to a player that's not as well known for their defensive game? Be curious to get a beat on that. But the Golden Knights now, because of back-to-back overtime wins, have a 3-2 series lead against the Utah Mammoth, and they're right where we expected them to be in this series. Pacific Division winners facing a wild card team, a team that's not nearly as experienced. Vegas has twice as much Stanley Cup playoff experience on their roster compared to the Utah Mammoth. This is a case where in the last couple of games, with so many twists and turns and drama and goals being called back and trying to have to settle yourself and find a way to still win a game, and scoring shorthanded goals and clutch goals and 6-on-5 goals, was it a case where we've just seen the experience factor deliver in a series?
Yeah, I mean, that was my key takeaway last night on the post-game show, is that this was another one of those games like Game 4 where the Golden Knights experience sees them through, because you mentioned some tightness or stiffness from Karel Vejmelka. I felt that not just from Vejmelka, but from the Utah team, right? Like, they have a power play opportunity. They have the puck in the offensive zone. They can't convert. All of a sudden, it gets scrambly. And even though they won the faceoff, it just never really felt in that moment like Utah was going to come away with that puck in the defensive zone. And, I think in a lot of ways, it doesn't really matter what the situation is. It doesn't matter if you're up in a game or down in a game. This Golden Knights team, they've seen it all in the postseason. They really have. They've been through all the wars. They've been through everything that can really happen or come your way. And there's no substitute for that experience. There's no substitute for what it feels like in double overtime when everything's magnified. And for a lot of Utah players, that was their first crack at it. And I just think that the steadier team, the team that's more prepared for those moments, is going to shine. And that's what the last two games have been for the Golden Knights. They have been the steadier team when the chaos has ensued around them. And that's why they won those 2 games.
Plug your ears for a minute. I just want to tell people, tomorrow night on the pregame show on Script Sports, 6:30, Alec Martinez is going to be in. Darren Elliott's going to be on. We're going to dig into that whole celebration and the chaos factor and the fun factor of what it's like to score a Stanley Cup playoff overtime goal with a guy that did it a couple of times during the course of his career. And we're going to get Marty he's got the AM Rewind where he breaks down goals on YouTube and social media, and it's gone over so well. We're going to get him to break down the celebrations and just
nice.
where it came from, how it happens, and the different sides of it. We're going to have a bunch of fun tomorrow night, and then get into the importance of Game 6 between the Golden Knights and the Utah Mammoth. We've got one-timers coming up, but first an opportunity to go see some comedy in Las Vegas.
Yeah, if you are a fan of comedy, we have an opportunity for you. A pair of tickets to celebrate Sebastian Maniscalco's 100th show at the Wynn. It'll either be May 23rd or May 24th. No real indication as to which day it's going to be, but it will be Sebastian Maniscalco's 100th show at the Wynn. 702-876-1340. Caller number 5, you're a winner.
We continue on Fox Sports Las Vegas with one-timers looking around the National Hockey League on the VGK Insider Show with Ryan Wallace, Darren Millard, and Jared Justice.
Carlson left corner, centered, one-timer, score!
It's time for One-Timers. A quick look at news and notes from around the National Hockey League. Brought to you by Paul Pata Law. It's not about the injury, it's about the recovery.
Looking at a couple of series that could end tonight. The Minnesota Wild at home against the Dallas Stars. Game 6 of this matchup of 2 versus 3 in the Central Division. A Wild 3-2 advantage coming in. Win, and they are through, and they will face the Colorado Avalanche in the second round. Lose tonight, and it goes to Game 7. They are right now into the first intermission. 1-0. Wild with the advantage. Quinn Hughes has scored, and the assist going to Marcus Foligno and Sturm.
Nice. I'm with John Shannon. I think this is the opportunity for the Minnesota Wild to punch their ticket to round number 2, and what a prize it is to have to go up against the Colorado Avalanche. But listen, I think Minnesota's been the better team in the series. Obviously, you look at Dallas; they've got 4 5-on-5 goals all series long.
But their power play has been incredible.
It's been tremendous.
So
yeah, it's been great.
I get frustrated when people criticize their 5-on-5 when their power play. Like, don't just stop at they've only got this many 4-on-4 goals. They haven't needed it because their power play's been incredible.
Well, right, but if the power plays go away, how are they going to generate offense?
Okay. If you score 5-on-5, where's your power play goals?
I'm saying a balance.
Because that's Minnesota. Minnesota scored a bunch 5-on-5, but haven't done much on the power play at all.
Yeah, I mean they've got a couple. They've got 4 power play goals in the series, so it's not like the ratio.
Like they're absolutely flipped. The two teams are flipped. Right. Exact opposite.
But the
of each
majority of the game is going to be played 5-on-5. Like, you have to score 5-on-5 in order to win in the playoffs. You just do. Dallas hasn't been able to do that in this series. No. That's why they're facing elimination.
I don't criticize a team for being power play heavy, not at all. We've seen it from the Edmonton Oilers the last couple of years, and it's got them to back-to-back Stanley Cup final appearances, and we'll see what happens this year. So it's one of those things that just bug me, like the old burr under the saddle.
That's totally fine, but I guess in this scenario, if the Dallas Stars were just a little bit better 5-on-5, if they could just score a little bit more 5-on-5, they're in control of this series.
And if Dallas wins the series, it'll be like Minnesota should have been better on the power play. Should have been better on the power play.
I mean, you can look at it from any angle you want to, but the fact of the matter is, like, listen, if Dallas gets shut out and they finish the series, in spite of the fact that they've got 9 power play goals, if they finish the series with 4 5-on-5 goals, all of the noise, all of the talk is going to be that their 5-on-5 play let them down. And
so they're down 1-0 in this game.
Say no.
They're down 1-0 in this game, but are they really down 1-0 in this game? And what I mean by that is they haven't had a power play yet.
What if they don't get one?
There's been no penalties called. So if they get a power play and they score, it's boom. They just ride a hot power play. There's nothing wrong. You should not be criticized because you have a great power play.
Unless you're in an elimination game and you get no power play opportunities and you can't score 5-on-5.
Yeah, it's the first period. Edmonton against Anaheim. They will play Game 6 tonight at Honda Center. The Ducks with a second opportunity to bounce the Edmonton Oilers. The Oilers took control of Game 5 up in Edmonton, roared out to the lead, and did not give anything back. Now, Anaheim did a good job staying in the game. Even after the Ducks made the decision to take Justel out, it didn't get away from them at all. And they territorially were in that hockey game. Couldn't get close. Well, they got to 3-1, and then Edmonton was able to reply. I think Anaheim can take confidence from what they were able to do to settle things down in Game 5, even though they lost, and transition that and use that as a confidence builder going into tonight. Not hearing as much noise about Jason Dickinson and Connor McDavid being game-time decisions in this game, even though they were in Game 5. You'd think that they would be again tonight, but there was no doubt that the two players looked like they were comfortable and they were able to play. I still think there was some great psychology played by the Oilers in that game.
Sure.
This is a massive game for Anaheim. And if I asked you the question, I asked John Shannon the question, who do you take straight up to win this series? And I'm not saying like who wins the series because they're two evenly matched teams. I'm giving you the fact that Anaheim's up a game and leading at 3-2. And you guys had your selection. I do lean slightly to the Edmonton Oilers because they've been there. They've been through the rigors. They've been able to rally the last couple of years early in the Stanley Cup playoffs and find their rhythm. I do not put them at a significant disadvantage despite being down a game going into this series. Now, Connor Ingram was fantastic in Game 5.
Sure.
They have to get that same type of goaltending in Game 6 to allow them to take this next step. And did Anaheim get rid of the nerves of being in a position of closing out a heavyweight in the Stanley Cup playoffs? Closing out anybody in the Stanley Cup playoffs is new for a lot of these players, but it's different when you're against Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and that group.
Well, I mean, think about it, right? Like, it took the Philadelphia Flyers a couple of opportunities to eliminate Sidney Crosby
it's
and
different.
the Pittsburgh Penguins. It is. You're not wrong. Like, there is a different level that those players, I'm talking about McDavid, Draisaitl, Crosby, Malkin, Letang, Karlsson, like, there's a different level that they all can get to, especially when their backs are against the wall. I think for Anaheim, like, it almost feels like they have to figure it out tonight. it almost feels like they have to get the job done tonight at home, because the last thing in the world, and John touched on this, the last thing in the world the Anaheim Ducks, Joe Quenneville, want to do is get on a plane and go to Edmonton and have to find a way to close out the Oilers on home ice. Like,
in that madhouse.
Yeah, 100%. Like that's a true flip a coin, but you're probably weighing it toward the side of the Edmonton Oilers. So I think if the Anaheim Ducks are going to win this series, it comes today. Like, this is their opportunity to get the job done, and it seems ridiculous given that they've got 2 chances, but it really does feel that way to me.
Award finalists continue to be ruled out by the National Hockey League. Today, it is the Lady Byng finalists. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That is the award that goes annually to the player voted best to combine sportsmanship, gentlemanly conduct, and ability by the Professional Hockey Writers Association. Your finalists for the Lady Byng Award: Cole Caulfield, Montreal Canadiens, from the Los Angeles Kings, Anze Kopitar, and the Ottawa Senators in Jake Sanderson. Just want to point out, I've got a bit of I'm not. It's sort of like the best defensive forward, the Selke Award, in the National Hockey League.
You hate it.
I'm not a big fan of it, but I think Jack Eichel could easily be a Lady Byng finalist.
How many? I'm going to look it up right now. How many minors did Jack take this year?
I think he had 18 penalty minutes. Because I was looking at.
So he's right in the wheelhouse.
I was looking at it last night because he's taken a couple of penalties in the series.
Right.
He's
not been happy about them either.
No.
Not been happy about them.
But the Lady Byng trophy, I don't know. I like the gentlemanly play.
It's the best player with the least penalty minutes is basically what it boils down to, right? Like that's what that's your gripe with it, is that it's just simply that.
It's just, what about the best player with the most penalty minutes? Because that's an award because you're not getting as much ice time.
Sure.
So that's pretty significant. Like, if you're spending all that time in the penalty box and you're still putting up all those points, like, now you're talking. Like Rick Tocchet?
Yeah.
Top 10 points, top 10 penalty minutes?
Would you call it the top?
He's not top 10 points, but he's top 10 penalty minutes. Like, that's doing something for a guy that put up all those numbers. I don't know what what I call it. I'm thinking this out on the fly here. But I think that should be an award. That's something I'm gonna pursue.
Yeah, I mean, you've talked me into the idea of a most penalty minutes, best highest points award. That'd be fun.
Like, that's cool.
Yeah, that'd be really fun. So what you're saying is it's not cool to not take penalties?
No, I'm just, if you're fine with it, cool. It's an angle, but
yeah,
there's also the other side of it.
Sure.
Like, when you're not taking penalty minutes, you're available to the coach all the time, but like you're taking yourself out of play when you're taking penalty minutes, but you're still putting up numbers. Mm-hmm. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Like, who's the best player with a ton of penalty minutes? Think about that right now.
Okay. Trying to.
Like, back in the day, Tocchet would have been that guy.
Yeah. I'm not, like, no one's clear in the front of my mind right now.
Well, you have to go through the penalty minute totals, and I'll come up with that tomorrow, okay? In one time.
Okay. All right.
I'll go down that path of who would be my finalists for the Brutus Award.
The Brutus Award? What? Yeah. Brutus?
I might come up with a new title by then tomorrow, but for now,
call it the Bruiser Award. What are you doing?
I don't know. It's my thing.
It's somebody who stabbed Julius Caesar.
I guess that's a penalty.
I'll fine tune it by tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah.
Last night, the Philadelphia Flyers advanced. After taking a 3-0 series lead on the Pittsburgh Penguins, they had to go to a 6th game, and they advanced. Cam York scores the only goal of the game in an overtime win for the Philadelphia Flyers, and relief for the Philadelphia Flyers and their fans, and they did it at home. That's cool. I'm happy for Philadelphia because they were very patient. They didn't do a lot at the deadline. They didn't, much to the chagrin of some people, and they just let the program play out. And now they're going to move on. They're going to play the Carolina Hurricanes in the second round, and I don't know whether they can beat the Carolina Hurricanes. I don't think it matters. I think the players and the coaches all want to win. See how far they can take this, but like it was already a team and a group in bonus territory, and even more so now.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's a great story for Philadelphia. It's great work from Rick Tocchet. It is awesome for Dan Vladar, who was exceptional in the game yesterday. And for the Philadelphia Flyers, just like ride the momentum, right? Like ride the wave, enjoy the moment. You're gaining so much experience that will help you down the road. And as far as the next round goes, like why not, right? Like you eliminated Sidney Crosby, you eliminated the mystique of the Pittsburgh Penguins and those players. Carolina's a different team, much more a team that you expected to be here. But why can't the Flyers continue their run? Like it'd be great if they did. It would be really fun for them, and lean into that.
And Montreal beat Tampa Bay 3-2. Montreal now leads that series 3-2, an opportunity to advance via a home ice victory in game number 6. Montreal's been the better team throughout this series. The numbers suggest that it shouldn't have got this far. We'll see if Tampa Bay can hang around a little bit longer. We've got some boxing tickets to give away.
Yeah, we do. Absolutely. If you want to see Benavidez versus Zurdo at T-Mobile Arena on May 2nd, be caller number 2, 702-876-1340. You're a winner. There it is.
I wonder the text line could give me some advice on my award.
Oh, I've got a name for you. And
Oh,
not for the award, but a player.
Oh, I need a name for the award. Well, we'll come back. Save that, and we'll do it on the other side. The Vegas Golden Knights Insider Show continues on Fox Sports Las Vegas.
That was One-Timers. Brought to you by Paul Pata Law. It's not about the injury. It's about the recovery.
Hurdle, and he shoves it right, and a shot, score! Dorofeev! Charges toward the goalie, center, Dorofeev, he scores! Theodore to the right, back and forth with Marner. Theodore left, Eichel shoots, save, rebound, score! Dorofeev! It's a hat trick for Dorofeev! He ties it!
I'm on fire over here, lads. Come on, I need some back and forth. Come on, what do you got for me? Now make it quick, make it funny.
We're down to the wire. It's the last minute of play.
Vegas Golden Knights playing Game 6 tomorrow night against the Utah Mammoth up in Salt Lake City. Because start times are bouncing all over the place in the Stanley Cup playoffs. So where are we tomorrow night, and what time does puck drop?
All right, well, I'll be hanging out at the TI Golden Circle Sportsbook and Bar, and it'll be a 7 o'clock puck drop, so 6 p.m. pregame show, and we'll be on the air with the VGK Insider Show starting at 4 p.m.
So we got the full VGK Insider Show tomorrow?
Do.
Nice. Because that's been hit and miss lately.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have the full 2 hours, and I'll bring some names to the forefront for my Brutus Award for the most points, or the player with that balances a lot of points with a lot of penalty minutes, which counters directly the Lady Byng Award, because I think we got to give some love to the guys that take penalty minutes and still produce.
Okay, I want to get a name in before you come up with your list, because I was looking at it in the break, and I'm kind of surprised, not really, based on a couple of the plays. Can I give you the first installment of the terrible Brutus Award that you've called?
Well, you can't call it terrible and then offer up.
No, what I'm saying is, like, Brutus is a terrible name.
Well, it's a work in progress.
Yeah, we'll just call it the Tiger.
Don't get caught up in that. So
okay,
who would be in contention for winning this the Brutus Award?
Okay, so Mikko Rantanen is 15th. He was 15th this year in penalty minutes. Now, only 93 penalty minutes gives you kind of an idea of where things are. Nikita Zadorov led the league with 152 penalty minutes, but Rantanen 93 penalty minutes, 15th in the National Hockey League. He did have 29 minors, 3 majors,
but how
2
many points?
game misconducts, and Rantanen the points. Hold on, let me pull it up right now
because points is the most important thing here. You can have all the penalty minutes you want, but you got to have points.
Yeah, I mean, Mikko Rantanen this year had, hold on, scrolling all the way down, 22 goals, 77 points in 64 games. So better than a point per game with 93 penalty minutes.
Pretty good. Tom Wilson would be a classic guy that would be up for this award every year, with all the penalties that he takes, right in the middle of everything, but still 30-goal season. That would be good. And if I have to name it after a former player,
sure,
I got the Tocchet Award because he's my buddy. He's top 10 in penalty minutes all the time, and nobody's catching him. He's going to be top 10 forever. Or you know what? I have a soft spot of Bob Probert. Might be the perfect name. Tiger Williams is number 1 all the time, but for penalty minutes. But Proby could play the game. And not that I don't want to get back to Tiger. That I was saying anything untoward towards him, because Tiger, I love you, buddy.
Tom Wilson, 117 penalty minutes. That's 4th in the National Hockey League, with a 30-goal season and 62 points. So right there.
That's brilliant. I'll come up with my finalists for the Brutus Award, which could be renamed by tomorrow. We'll be on the air 4 o'clock tomorrow ahead of Game 6. The Vegas Golden Knights trying to win a 3rd in a row and win their way into the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. For Jared Justice and Ryan Wallace, I'm Darren Millard. Thanks for listening. Talk to you again tomorrow on Fox Sports Las Vegas.